Check, 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 check. Look who we have, y'all. Guy Jones on the show. Knotty, what's poppin', brother? How are you?
What up? What up? I'm good, bro. I'm big fucking chilling, bro.
Yo, I've been
How are you?
I've been wanting you on the show for a bit now, but the Christmas break and all
Yeah.
that shit was just all over the place. But yo, bro, I'm glad you on it now, man.
Hell yeah,
Um,
bro. I've been watching the other episodes. They were fucking good. Curtis, Shots, everybody. They were fucking good.
yeah, for sure. And like I said, I wanted to interview you because you're one of the OGs of the server, and you have a unique story, and I think it needs to be told.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I kind of just want to go back to like how you started even streaming, or did you
Okay.
was you streaming before you got into RP, or was it
Mm,
like
um, I think it's okay. So I started streaming like on Twitch, like actually streaming, probably like two and a half, 3 years ago. Um, and I went from doing like variety, just chatting, like watching stuff, right? And rather than like playing a lot of like or playing one game, I was doing like
a bunch of
variety,
games?
right? Like
Yeah.
I was doing like whatever fun games, like stupid games, whatever, right? So I was just doing that for a bit, and then I think I'm pretty sure it was Summit. I stumbled across like something about GTRP or RP in general, for nopixel, right? But I got into like RP and like Arma. Do you know what Arma
Yeah,
is? Like
yeah.
Arma 2,
I
Arma
heard of
3.
Armor, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
what
I
was
never
Armor though? Was it wasn't it a fighting game or something like that?
no. So I mean, you could say like, I mean, I don't know how to actually describe it. You could just say GTA, but like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like GTA, but like I guess Daisy style, if you
Oh,
get what I'm
got you,
saying.
got you.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
move, fight, shoot. A lot of it is like similar to Daisy. But and then obviously they made like an RP section or whatever, and there was a lot of people RPing. So I did that for a little bit on Arma, and that got me like, I want to do stuff like this, right? I want to
So
like,
you got in early then.
yeah, 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 but not on no pixel though, right? So the Arma was I was just on like random servers, like I was just
Oh,
going
okay.
and trolling, right? And then like I said, I stumbled across Summit doing the GTA RP. Arma was like outdated, like nobody was doing it anymore. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a try. So I applied, and I think on my fourth or my last application for no pixel, I got in. So you know how you have like five to
Yeah, yeah,
apply?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. So my last one, I think my last one or the second last one is what got me in. It wasn't even for Guy Jones, it was for a completely different character. That was not the best. I didn't play that character the best, so that was shelved,
Yeah.
like straight off the bat. Um, yeah, I mean that's how I got in. Probably like I mean you could give the props to Summit, to be honest, Summit, and like I mean yeah,
Yeah, he seems like he inspired a lot of people to come through.
yeah.
So now you're saying how like this character didn't work. What kind of character was it?
Okay, okay. So this story like is a little crazy. Okay, so I applied to the server, right? And I applied with a character called Schizo, right? So a
Skits.
schizophrenic, yeah,
Oh.
Schizo. So a schizophrenic character. Um
It's kind of
and
dope. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, so I that's what I applied with, and I got accepted eventually, right? And once once I got in, it was very hard to play the character because when like I would try to do certain things, I wouldn't want it to come off a weird. You get what I'm saying? Like if I like started acting a certain way or doing specific things, like I don't want people like it was my first time role playing,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want people to be put off. So I rarely did like anything crazy, but I think there was this one instance where I did something and I was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, uh, in the moment, I was doing it, not thinking of what it looks like. So I basically threatened to jump off a bridge if my demands weren't met, right? And in hindsight, right, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
basically suicide RP, but I wasn't doing that, right? I wasn't like, I wasn't gonna kill the character off, right? Break my legs, whatever, right? I'm a dumb fuck, right? So I did that. The cops played along, whatever. I eventually got arrested or went to the hospital, something. Um, later down the line or a couple days after, you know, it wasn't too like, I don't know how to explain it, like wasn't well received. So
Mm.
like I had to basically shelve that character, poorly played. Like I just didn't, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just didn't play him to the fullest extent, or like to the best of my ability, if you get what I'm saying. Like I did poor decisions, right? So
Yeah, and like you said, you was fairly new, so you're like learning and
yeah, it was
understanding.
like first like even I wouldn't even say months, but it was like really cool, like early in my time. So I was just like scared basically to do
Yeah.
shit, right? And I was learning, right? So
So now you shelf him. So then
mhm.
you make Guy Jones.
So at this time I'm still streaming consistently. And at this moment I tell myself, or around that time with Schizo and like something before that, I dedicated like a full year of streaming, right? So I started and saying I won't take a day off for a year, right? Like completely, right? I'll even if it's I go live for like an hour, but it's content, I will go live, right? I will not like
So before,
take the day off.
like so, I guess during the armor,
When I got to no no when I got accepted to NoPixel basically is when I did that.
dang, and you didn't take a day off for a year.
No, no, I didn't. I didn't take one day off. I went straight every single day. I went on. I think I went on like a vacation, but I still streamed. Like I still went live.
Damn.
Like
So what was? Did you see results or like?
I was back when I started this. I was 20 viewers, maybe 10 viewers, 1,000 followers, not even less. Um, and I was like, okay, like I have to do something that people are not doing. And 3 years ago, like, I mean, maybe people did it, but it wasn't that like prevalent. Like people are not doing like back then they weren't doing subathons and like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
sleeping for the, so it wasn't like out of the order. I mean, back then it was like out of the ordinary type of shit, right? Like
yeah.
it was like people weren't doing it. So, I mean, I was like, maybe I'll just do this. And if I could do it, like that's crazy, right? Like I streamed for a full year, no days off. So throughout like that year, every month would just be a better month, right? So one month would go like, you know, it was like, oh shit, like this is doing well, like I can't stop, right? And the next month, and the next month, and it would continue to do well. And like, I mean, we could talk about why that like snowballed. Um, basically, I mean, if you want like a real answer to why that snowballed, like I wouldn't even be able to tell you, but like what I think is that's the transition I made when I applied to NoPixel, and then I started this 1 year. Schizo was shelved, and then I went live and I said, "We need to make a new fucking character." I'm not gonna talk about the last one.
Hmm.
And we need to come up with something like unique. And I was just like looking through names in my chat. I was telling them to just throw names in the chat, like random names, doesn't matter. And somebody said something guy or like it was like guy something, and then somebody else said like something Jonas. And I said, you know, what about like Guy Jones, right?
That's
Or like yeah, so we just made that, and I mean that was Guy Jones, right? We looked through the pads, we found them, right?
damn.
And
That's crazy. That's like so. Like basically, your chat made this up.
made the character.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
So so what is that? Could you explain like what is that like? You streaming every day for a year. Like what is that? Like on your mental, on your body. Like was it just
Hmm.
was there times where you're like, bro, I
Okay.
can't do this no more. Like fuck this.
Hmm.
Like
Okay, so I want to tell you before like I answer that question, I okay, so my habits are not the healthiest, right? So I mean, I like eat weird, like I don't eat condiments, like you know, I do shit like that, right? Like I don't like work out that often, whatever. So at that time, or like now, I don't work out since streaming. So at
mhm.
that time, I was coming off of like training and like you know, doing continuous workouts, which we could talk about obviously later, but
Yeah.
I was working out like for MMA and boxing and stuff, and that was the start. So I didn't have like a um I don't know how to explain it, like a slope where I felt physically bad. Like I didn't feel like I felt like every day if I went to sleep tired and then woke up again and did what I had to do, I was chilling, right? Like I felt good about myself. Um, and I just went through this year thinking like if I don't stop at all, I can achieve what I achieved in MMA and boxing, right? So to me, I feel like me not pursuing like boxing or anything like that, like further, like further, up there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I feel like that's wasted because I know how good I am. Um, and this is something that I believe like I should be doing. Like I feel like the content I provide and what I want to do is content creation. So I just put that same like drive into this, right? So that first year was coming off doing, MMA for 15 years, whatever, into a new passion type of thing. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So it just motivated me, for
So
that year, right,
so
to
so
do it.
you already understood the discipline and the dedication.
Oh,
You
oh,
was already
oh.
mentally there.
It, yeah, 15 years of straight like actual like training and discipline and all that like together is, I mean,
So
to me you don't lose it, but yeah.
yeah, so let's so the 15 years of fighting, like, so this was a passion for you growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I started when I was 4.
So can you kind of like I don't know if you can remember when you was 4, but like was it your parents that got you into it? Is it something you've
Yeah, yeah,
seen?
yeah.
Okay.
So, when I was younger, so I have an older brother. He's 3 years older than me. So when I started, he was like 7. And so they put him in, and they put me in because they put him in.
Yeah.
So 2 brothers. He's oldest. I'm right under. So we got put into, you know, boxing, MMA. Like, but obviously we weren't fighting. We were kids, right? So we're learning, right? And it was just because my parents, they said, you know, where we used to live or the area we used to be wasn't the best. So like she was saying, I'm gonna do this for you while you're younger. So and I'm gonna keep you through this until you're able to do it on your, like you do it because you want to do it. You get what I'm saying? Because when
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
4, like I don't know what the fuck I
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so she's gonna allow me that opportunity. So when I'm whatever age, right? I don't like I'm able to defend myself or whatever the case may be, right? Like I don't need to be worried about none of that, especially being in a like a shitty neighborhood or whatever the case may be, right? So that was kind of the motive of all of that.
So when did you realize like you this was something you was good at, or this is something you loved? Like when did you realize that, like at what age?
Um, I would say like I mean I don't know if I can remember 13 years ago, but I would say around like 10 because once you got to that age, or once I got to that age, I mean, I was realistically doing it for 6 years. So, um, probably like 2 years real. Like, I mean, the first beginning is basics or whatever, learning as a child. And then I think once I reached 10, 11, 12, there was competitions and tournaments for all these age groups, right? So you would go from like 5 to 9, 10 to 13 or 14, whatever, like
Yeah, yeah,
you would do
yeah.
that. And I would be put into these competitions and first place, whatever. I would go and I would do well at the age I was, right? And I would do good. I would be getting first place here in grappling. I would do kickboxing, first place, second place there. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing these things at such a young age. So I just felt like I don't know the word. Like I felt not justified, but like um I don't know the word. I don't know how to explain it, but like I saw my talent and how like first place this or like how much I was doing, so I
Hmm.
didn't want to stop. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed it just like a sport, right? Like baseball, you're like good at it, right? And you're good, right? So
So now you're feeling these ways at, like, 10, 11, 12. You're winning these tournaments. So
yeah.
I guess it starts to become very serious.
Mm-hmm.
So you're training every day. Um so I know like boxing is like golden gloves and stuff. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what is in that world? Um like what heights did you reach in that world, should I say?
So I mean When I stopped, I mean, I had plenty of opportunities to go fight, like, or train for Golden Gloves.
Hmm.
And I mean, I never took them. But I was told, like, you train for this amount of time, we will get you there. We will get you a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
put that like time and that dedication, we will get you that fight, right? But I never pursued it, because at that time when I got those opportunities at 17, 18, 19, whatever, um, I just wasn't. I've been doing it for so long. I just wasn't like. I knew I could do it, right? I'm good, but I just didn't see myself like pursuing it even further than that, right? Like I just did it. Like in me, I don't know how to explain this, but I have this like uh, I have this flaw. Um, I physically can't do shit publicly, like presentations, stages, like I would say anxiety, but it's like way more than that, right? Like I'm unable to do things like say if I was in the ring, boxing ring, right? Like all these people, whatever the case may be. I can't do that. Like I would
Mm,
lose straight from like I wouldn't even be able. I would throw up. Like I didn't say this before because I forgot. But when I was younger, 15, whatever, before those tournaments I was going to, I would be in the bathroom throwing up. Right,
damn,
like I was
damn.
that scared. Right, like I was nervous, but not because oh I'm gonna lose. I that's just like just these people looking at
Yeah,
me like
a lot of
you get
yeah.
yeah, and I was
Feeling
just in my own
overwhelmed.
head
Yeah, yeah,
exactly, and I would still win. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I knew it that regardless I could still like do it, but I didn't want to put myself under that anymore. Right, like
S-
it was
s-
so hard.
So do you feel you know, like because you're very self aware, you could tell. Do you feel is have you overcame that, or do you feel like that's something you're gonna overcome that?
On
That
a
stage.
on a smaller level, yeah, with streaming it helps, right? Because like I mean, you're not on a stage, but you're kind of like you're there, and especially with face cam, if you do face cam or whatever, you're there and these people are watching you, right? It's the same concept, just not in person.
Yeah.
Um but I haven't fully overcame it. So if I wanted to go train and go fight, I wouldn't be able to do it still because that's still like a big hurdle I haven't
Mm.
jumped yet, you know, like I haven't got that opportunity to overcome that fear, right, on a larger scale, right? So
Yeah, no, 100%. So now, um, how do you transition into like the gaming and then the streaming? Like, what made you say, "Oh, I want to stream"? Like, what clicked in your mind?
so I mean, throughout all this MMA bullshit, whatever, not bullshit, but the
Yeah, I
whole
got you.
story, um, I did like I did like YouTube videos 11 years ago,
Yeah,
on like stupid shit like Minecraft and on a fucking laptop you could hear the fucking fans like roaring in the background, and I'm over here like microphone from the laptop, and I was just like I just wanted to do that at that young age, right? As well, right? I had that vision, but I never really like pursued it because I didn't have that. I mean, I didn't have the equipment, but I also didn't have that like knowledge, right? Or I didn't
yeah,
know what I was doing, right? I was just doing upload a 10-minute video of like the audio is garbage, and it's just the fans, right? And it's just the gameplay, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
know what you were doing, but uh later on when I realized like I'm transitioning from this MMA boxing like focused life where I was training 3-4 hours a day, 6 days a week, and now I'm in college, home most of the time, right? So I was like, okay, I played games previous like all my life, and I have never like actually like pursued content creation on a real scale, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I mean, I could give it a try. I'll make a Twitch account and just start streaming, right? And advertise here and there, try to get it moving, right? I mean, and from there, I, I mean, I could give all the credit to NoPixel, to be honest, because I was streaming before that, but it gave me that extra like motivation, seeing how like people reacted to the character or me or my content or whatever, right? So
So, yeah, yeah. So, like, now you're in the city. Guy Jones, are we 2.0 right now?
Yeah, we're 2.0.
S-
We're I don't know how deep in 2.0, maybe halfway, maybe a little after halfway of 2.0.
So did you start your gang right away, or what was that like?
So NBC wasn't a thing till 3.0, right?
Oh,
So the
okay.
start of 3.0, NBC like, became a thing and we started, so I think 2 years. Um but in 2.0, uh I didn't really like have like I was new still, right? On a different character, so I knew less people, right? So I would go on and I would just try to talk to people, RP with people, whatever. A lot of the people I interacted with were CG, so Rami, Randy, Mr. K,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys. So like a lot of my old school like clips or whatever have them, in it, or um, I don't even remember so long ago, like Space Boy or something, right? Um,
And you was like
and
by yourself, like you didn't
I was
have.
solo. Yeah, yeah, I was by myself. Like I would just go and try to do things at the time.
So was it like uncomfortable for you at first, or was it just like, hey, what's up, man? Like, let's just chill, like
Um,
to click with people?
I tried to be so back then. I didn't notice it. I mean, I did, but not as bad. I didn't notice how bad like I sounded. And maybe that's just me saying because that's me.
Hmm.
But like the voice back then, I feel like was like terrible, right? And then now people tell me, why does Guy Jones not have a voice anymore? It's like, bro, it's like 3 years old, and that voice compared to this, I mean, 10 different mics, like all
Yeah,
this, right?
yeah,
All these
yeah.
changes, right? Um, so I just tried to perfect the voice by RPing as much as possible. The original voice was literally me pressing onto myself like vocally and straining my voice. So I would literally like um I don't know how to explain it. Like, um, I mean, best way to explain it, if you're constipated, right? That's how
Yeah.
the voice would be. Like, that's how I would talk, right? And then obviously it progressed and it got better. Um, but when I started, I was just going around like it was uncomfortable, but I needed to better myself in role play and like get the character going. So I had to like go like just go around by myself and like do things and talk to people, right?
So you mentioned like you was hanging out a lot with like CG and stuff like that. So how comes you like never went the CG route, or was that something you cared to do, or?
I never like hung out. I mean, later on, but early 2.0, like I was just like, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like they would see me, I would talk to them like passing by, like whatever, whatever, and then it would be, next RP situation, right? I
Yeah.
was never like there. It was never like now where, there's people, just chilling, over here, like in 2.0. It was like completely like a different realm of, like RP, right? It was just a different atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it wasn't like I was hanging out with them, doing things with them. If people were still chilling, standing around, whatever, you know, if I saw them, I would go. Same with other groups. I mean, people actively like, I don't know how to explain it. Like people would actively like seek out RP situations and create them. So you would be driving around like, and these things would just be there, right? Like, like I mean, you could see it in 3.0 as well, but 2.0 was more prevalent because it was like less people in the server, like just like stricter or um, I don't, my best way to explain it is Burger Shot in 2.0. I don't know if you know anything or seen anything, but Burger Shot or not 2.0, 3.0. Burger Shot in 3.0, beginning of 3.0 was like 2.0 in a nutshell. Like the RP there was perfect. People
So
there
why
were
do you
so
think it's
good.
changed? Because there's more people now, or like?
I just think it's I mean, yeah, slots being 250 compared to when I was in the server 60 something,
Damn.
64. I might be mistaken, but around that number. Um and I just think like from that to 250, you're not gonna find the unique like crazy or out of this world RP that often, right? Because when you
Yeah.
have
No, you're right. Like I see 250 people on the server. I don't even see nobody. I'm like, I just
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of like
yeah.
just friends hanging out with friends, just fucking.
Exactly. Groups just with other group or not with other groups, with their own groups, seeing other groups. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like you would be, everyone's guilty of this, most people, right? That are in bigger groups or groups in general. Um, you'll be hanging out with your own group and you'll go around and you'll see other groups, you'll talk to them, whatever, whatever, and then you move on and do the next thing, right? But you're usually within your own group. The way I remembered 2.0, it didn't feel as group heavy, right? So it
Hmm.
felt like it was just people were out there trying to do things, start things, and
Just
RP.
just create basically.
Yeah, yeah, just create
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
yes, and I mean, people's favorite like saying is just yes and RP. So when somebody RPs with you, yes and right, so you continue it, right? Yes, you go with it, and
Is
then
it?
and you continue
Yeah,
with it. You know?
it's like a consensual
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like like when people RP with you, it's like, hey, I'm sharing my audience with you. It's like a
yeah.
consensual thing. That's what pretty much what a RP server is. So I can
Hmm, hmm.
understand like, yes, go along with it. Um, so yeah, it seems like it changed a lot, and I always see like people in the comments like, oh, better RP, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I still see like I still see great RP from like the main
Oh,
guys.
for
You know what I'm
sure,
saying?
for sure. I see great RP from, the entire server, but it comes to a point where these like RP scenarios or these good RP individuals, right? They're not always like, I don't know how to explain it. They're now, I guess, they're the odd ones out, right? Like I said, with the amount of people that are in the
Yeah,
server,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you had 64 people. I mean, you could tell at least like 50 of them are top tier. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah. Top
the
tier,
best of the
yeah.
best, right? At 250, I mean, you never know what you're gonna have, right? Like you can meet somebody and you could be the best role player there is, but I mean, you meet
Yeah,
them and they're either, I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I mean, they're either robots or just not role playing. They're just there to grind the game, like play
yeah,
the game,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's the way it is.
No, no, no. That's facts. So okay, so now I guess 2.0. You're getting to know people.
Yep.
You're building your name. You're building your brand. So 3.0, what's happening?
Before we go to 3.0, there was one thing in 2.0. Towards the end of 2.0, I created this thing called Train Gang. And it was a gang because we were all always stuck on the train. Like we were always stuck on in queue.
Yeah,
So we decided, hey, we'll make the name Train Gang, like dumb fucks, right? Just
yeah.
whatever. And it was literally four of us. We had one house. This was like really at the end of 2.0. We had one house like right next door to the barrio, and that's it. We just rolled around. It was just us four, and we just go like RP and just have a good time and yeah,
So
do dumb shit.
those guys are still around now or no?
Uh, no, one of them is. One guy is from then. Um, and he still hangs out with us. He's affiliate of NBC right now.
Okay, okay. Damn, so it's like really the strongest survive type shit.
Yep, yep. I mean, uh, you never know what happens, right? Like I didn't know these guys out of the game. Like we met in game, and like we would get on and do shit together. Like I didn't know who they were. We just met in game, right? Um, and we would go around do shit. This is where I met a lot of the people that I know now. Um, with these other people, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we went around and RP'd with people, and now I know a lot of these people. So I mean, I met Salim, Aleem, Moody, Jack, and Peanut around that time in 2.0. You may not know all those people, but
Yeah, I know all of
uh,
them.
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
So now, so yeah, I don't want to rush it. So
no,
now,
you're good.
um, so I guess so these people you connected with. So 3.0, you're just like, let me create my gang, or was it?
So 3.0 came, and those people that I mentioned, Peanut or whatever, Peanut, me, um, me and Peanut started off in 3.0, like just hanging out with me and him, right? Um, and we would occasionally see Salim, Aleem, Moody, these guys, right? You would see them. They would hang out with us as well. Um, but this was like a little bit into 3.0. Obviously, everybody got to know each other or whatever, right? Like we would start hanging out. But
Yeah.
it was usually me and Peanut rolling around, and we were in a car robbing houses. And he said, "What do you think of just starting a gang?" And I said, "I'm down. Let's do it. What do you want to call it? Like, what should we call it?" And we came up with some names. Eventually, we stuck with Natural Born Crackheads, NBC, and I mean, it was just me and Peanut, and we made the gang, and that's how it started.
So what was your okay? So now you started, NBC. Like what were like
Yeah.
what was the build up? What was the like? How did it become such a, you know, prevalent thing in the city? Like people were scared of y'all. People didn't want to fight y'all.
Yeah.
Like this is a new gang. So how did you
Mm.
how did y'all build? Like
I'm gonna be like really fucking honest, and I mean, people might not agree, but um, I just think that NBC as a whole, at the time that it was created,
mhm.
and how prevalent we got in game, um, is kind of, I mean, it's unmatched to newer gangs who started at the same time. If you get what I'm saying. Um, we did so much, we conquered so much with little that we had. We had fuck all, like for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Um, and we did what we had to do, and every obstacle we went over it and did it, and here we are, almost at end of 3.0, and I mean, we're still here, right? So, um, I just I just think once we started, we had the idea, and it wasn't something that personally me I wanted to let go if I put everything into it, right? So I wanted to make sure it worked, um, and it did. So when me and Peanut came up with this idea, um, we just thought like, let's go around, let's RP, let's have a good time, um, and if the people along the way fuck with us and they're good and whatever the case may be, whatever, um, you know eventually we'll ask them to be a part of us, and we'll continue to do that, right? And grow and what have you, right? um our first person, I don't know if you know Pilbus. Do you know Pilbus?
Sounds familiar. Like what? No, I don't think.
Where Okay. I mean, maybe I think you've met him, maybe not, but Pilbus was our first member. um it was the way we invited him was we went up. We had, at this time, weed was like only certain groups had like weed plants and like ran that shit. And I think it was like CG or and a different group or something. Um, and we finally got one plant going, like one male, to get more seeds. And we had it like up north, hidden in one spot. And we came, we showed it to him, and then we asked him to be part of the gang, and he said yeah. Um, and then the next day that weed plant got stolen by somebody, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, we just lost that. But I
So
mean, that's literally the start. That's, I mean, me, Peanut, and then Pilbus, like maybe a couple like weeks in, and spiraled from there, right?
and then bringing new
Oh, I
people.
have to ask the question, but yeah, continue. I forgot to answer the feared and all that, but you could ask, continue.
What you was gonna what? Sorry, I said it.
I forgot to answer the how did we get like feared or whatever
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So yeah, you can. Okay, I'm gonna ask this, and then that will play onto that.
Yeah, we could just do. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
So now, like, so it's three of you. So how do you acquire this group, and then how do you select the right people?
Mhm.
Uh, Also, I'm gonna ask, like, did these people have prio? Were they waiting on a train? What was that like?
Mhm.
Because that's a big thing in like on like the stagnant of gangs. It's like
Mhm.
because these members don't have prio, so the gang kind of like falls,
Yeah.
deteriorates. So can you like
Mhm.
elaborate on that?
So I mean, when me and Peanut started the gang, none of us had prio. Me and him didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we invited Pilbus, I don't know if he had prio. at that time, but he eventually got it, same as the rest of us. But
Yeah.
I think at the start, the only one that had prio pretty early was Pilbus and Salim. They had like really good prio from like a really long time, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, like I was on train queue for 10 hours a day daily. I was in school, team viewer, queuing
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing all of that, right? And I was in college working a full-time job and streaming at the same time while streaming for the whole year. I forgot to mention that, by the way. So I was doing all of that at the same time. And um I was waiting in queue, this, that, and I don't know what, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not like that anymore. Like that drive and doing all that at once and like NBC, Q, college, work, streaming, like all of that. I, if that happened now, I don't even think I would be able to do it, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. That's nuts.
I think
But
I think it's also the like it's kind of like the unknown is what drives you. So it's like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
unknown, and then now obviously because you work so hard for the unknown, you can get into it's known to you now. So it's like now you're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
like, well, bam, maybe. So I understand that mentality, but it's the drive of the unknown that's what's got you.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Um,
so you so now so the all I guess all the boys are dedicated at this point. They're just coming
yeah.
in.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, so I was weighing a lot. Peanut was weighing a lot. Like I would say 90% of us, when we had like seven, 6, 7 members, which was I guess a good amount at the time, um, we're waiting on queue, right? So we would be in queue. Some of us would get lucky, but most of us didn't have prio. Um, and then I think a little bit down the line, like I said, Salim, Pilbus, they get their prio, or they in that realm they had it already. Um, and our mission was RP, go around and create. I mean, I hate saying content, but like I mean, create content, right? Have a good time,
Yeah.
while all RPing, and that's what we did. Along the way, I mean, we got into some problems with a bunch of gangs, Vagos, GSF, Ballas, uh, what else did we fight? Eastside, um, BCF, I think, BSK. So all those wars. And I mean, one by one. Also Clean Boys. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
Clean
know.
Boys, yeah. I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
you
yeah.
fought Clean Boys though.
Yeah, we fought them for. I mean, the war. It wasn't really a war. It was just. I mean, I think it was like 2 fights. Um, we fought them for a day. Our last like ask was $500,000 to basically finish the war or whatever. Um, and I mean, yeah, they ended the war. They gave us the 500,000. Um, and I think, I mean, I'm gonna be brutally honest. That like that whole time was a bad one. Like that whole war was.
Which
I
one?
mean,
Clean Boys?
yeah, I had the most viewers, like because war viewers, but
Yeah.
and subs and all that. But I don't give a fuck about like I don't care about that if I'm just getting hated on and all this crazy shit. Like I was getting phone calls, like it's
Damn.
crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, like
Invested viewers, like it's the way
yeah.
it is.
So yeah, I kind of now that you went to that, like, how do you handle? Because sometimes I think something happened like last week or 2 weeks, maybe last month, and I seen you tweet something.
Yeah.
Um,
It was actually like last week.
yeah, and you seem kind of agitated about people hating on you.
You know, I mean, all I gotta say about that is, like since I've started, I've always had, for some reason, like I've had this like uh gravitation of hateful people. Like I don't know why, and I mean, I don't know how to explain this, but I like I'm not like a positive person in a sense. Like I'm not always like that, but I am as positive as I can be, right? Like I'm never trying to be negative. I'm not trying to like shit on people. Like I literally only want the best for everybody around me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's me, and anyone can vouch that, right? Um, I try my best for everybody, and I just felt like I always got like hate regardless, right, of what I did from the start till now, right? And progressively you get these big like clusters of like shit that will get you. You get what I'm saying? Like you could get hated on for 5 years, but between those 5 years, there were moments that it was worse than others. You get what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, for sure.
So when those moments happen, like I just try to like reflect and think like, what's the actual point? Like of being like frustrated about it or overwhelmed when I mean I could just try to say like fuck the negative shit, be positive because that's basically what I said, right? Like I don't know why people are hating, like, just be kind, whatever, right? Um and that wasn't even in regards to chatters either, which was the sad part, right? So
So,
that was in regards to other
so,
content creators.
so do you handle it? How do you handle it? How does it affect you? Like, does it affect you? Like,
Um So the bigger, like I said, clumps do like I mean they do affect me. Like I'm not gonna hide uh, you know, that it affects me, but I don't like let it get to me. It can
interesting.
affect like my mental at that moment. Like if they come into my stream or if I'm getting haters or people just hate watching, right? And typing shit in my stream, I will like actually flame them, get the fuck out of my stream. Like you're here to just talk shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Ban them, call it a day, right? But after that instance of like, me talking about it, whatever, after that, I don't give a fuck, right? Like I'm done, right? I've moved on from that and I'm done. So in the moment, it'll affect me, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here like this one guy said
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
or
yeah.
I don't really like,
It's just
what I'm
for
saying?
that
I know
moment. Yeah.
exactly for that moment. Like I just got to put them in their place real quick
Yeah.
and, call it a day, right?
So do you read like YouTube comments and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I read them on stream. Like that might not
Oh,
even be the best thing, but I'll see videos just of people clipping shit out of context and of me or other people, and I'll scroll in the comments, and they'll just say like, "I've seen people actually create their own stories."
all the time, bro.
In the comments, like they'll be sitting in the comments, like typing out a storm of something that never happened, like
Yeah.
completely different, and you're like, "How did he get this?
How
Like,
did
how did
how
he
do
derive this
you
information from this?" Like, it's so crazy to me. But I mean, I find it to be like funny to see these things because they're so delusional. Like, it's funny,
a
right?
lot of
Like,
delusional
yeah,
people.
yeah,
So it's so like you guys had a decent amount of fights, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
proving yourself, people don't fuck with y'all. So, but I guess certain members, like certain key members started like leaving the gang, right?
Recent, yeah,
Recent,
like
yeah, recent.
recent, yeah.
Yeah, and I always wanted to ask you that, like as like a gang leader, like also in game and out of game, like how do you feel about that? Like how do you look at that?
I mean, I'm just gonna be real. Like, Alan or Shelb Allen leaving the gang, um, that like hurt a lot because like he's been there from almost the beginning, like not from the core, like 4 or 5, but he was there, right? He
Hmm.
was there from almost the start, and um, seeing someone leave, um, I don't know how to say it, but let's just say, he wanted to progress further, and I didn't want to see him, you know, not do that. So
So,
yeah, he left, and
so do you think people? So do you think people go like leaving gangs and going to other gangs? Do you think it's more political now? than RP?
I mean, I feel like a lot of reasons why people leave gangs are not in game reasons.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's just hard to see from a lot of people, viewers as well. But um, just being real, a lot of shit happens, and a lot of these viewers don't see it, right? Like, you're not gonna see 100% of things that happen, right? Um, so if individuals not comfortable where they're at, or they don't believe that their streaming career is, where they want it to be, and they progress somewhere else, you know, I mean, maybe they'll make that decision and do something like that, right? Um, but at the end of the day, like, it all happens in role play. So
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
if somebody is gonna be leaving a gang, they're gonna do it in game. I mean, that's for me, right? Alan leaving, Peanut leaving. I didn't know they were leaving until
oh,
you
so
know.
you didn't know, you
No, I
only.
didn't know Peanut. I didn't know Peanut was leaving. I knew Alan was leaving. I think a little bit before, not like maybe a couple days max. But the only reason I knew that is because I mean it was something we had to actually like, you know, talk
Yeah.
about out of the game because it's more than just we're just playing the game, right? It's people's streams or whatever the case may be.
So does it change your relationship OOC in a sense? Like not like in a weird way,
Um,
maybe you just don't talk as much. Like
I mean, with Alan, no, I've known him before all of this. Like I've known Alan for almost coming up 5 years now.
yeah.
So I like him like leaving in the game or nothing. At the end of the day, we had some good times. He did as well. He was there for literally all of it, and I'm just happy. He's happy, right? So we talk often, and um, you know, no pixel is not like me and his friendship, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Most of
yeah.
the most of the guys that I'm around, we're friends outside of the game, right? Um, but we weren't friends prior. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Besides like Alan or I think just Alan. But with Peanut leaving, I mean, I hadn't talked to the guy in 7 months, in game or out of game, and I saw him show up randomly, talk to him in game, and then like a couple days later, he called me in game and said he wanted to leave, this, that, and the third. So I said, okay, you go.
Yeah. So he didn't even like fly in or nothing. So like how do you deal with that for like members not flying in? Do they
No,
like
no, he flew in. No, 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 he came in. Like he called me in
no,
game.
but
I mean,
you said you didn't talk to him for like 7 months.
oh yeah, yeah. He just went like he just stopped, you know, ain't like talking to people, like whatever the
Yeah.
case may be, or talking to me, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was no like issue. I just, check
Yeah.
up on the guys, see how he's doing, whatever, this, that, and the third. But he just said he didn't have that motivation to play the game, right? Like he just at that time he didn't want to play, right? And from then till when he showed up back in game, like when he did, I had to talk to him, right? It was more like he didn't enjoy RP at the moment, and that's about it, right? And I didn't talk to him for 6 months or whatever, and then he came back, happy to see him. We wanted to, do shit with him, gave him a chain, hung out with him, whatever. A couple days later, calls me, gets in game, uh, calls me or whatever at our old block in Vinewood, and then we talk over there for a little bit. He leaves the gang, and that's it. To be honest,
Mm.
I haven't seen him in game, talked to him in game since that. Like maybe like once in passing or twice, but that's about it. To be honest.
So at this point you're you know so where's your mind at? Like, you kind of lost your two main guys.
Yeah. I mean, they
Uh
weren't the main. So Pino was the main guy in the beginning. But when he left, he said, um, I never like he never stepped up is what he said, right? Like he never uh like led the game. Um, and when he was gone, uh, he wasn't even in the game. He wasn't playing the game. So when he was gone for so long, like we just didn't like think of him or like
Yeah, true,
even
true,
have him
true.
as a member, right? So he wasn't that he was a core member or whatever, like he was previous. But I mean, when you're gone for that long and like show no sign of like coming back or whatever, like what can we
Yeah.
do in game, right? But for Alan, it was hard because Alan was forged into hacker, DDR, this like we got him the tools necessary to practice and do these things with like yellow laptops or buying the tools to go do these jobs. And we set him up to do all those things. And obviously, he's really fucking good on his own like talent. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if we didn't pursue or push it or give him the tools, he wouldn't have done it with us at least, right?
Yeah. You
So him
prepped him.
leaving, yeah, exactly. And him leaving, we had to start prepping other people. I picked up like 3 new hacks that I didn't do prior. Uh, 3 or 4 other gang members as well, picking up DDRs, thermites, laptop hacks. So they're all picking up where what he, what he left with. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those 2 members leaving. I mean, we have 24 members, bro. Like,
24.
yeah,
Jeez.
we have 24 members. Like, I mean, I could name them, but
So
we could be here all
how
day.
do you control that and how do you trust that? Like, you know?
Because each person was strategically picked based on what they've done or what like the RP they've brought. So when we recruit people, it's kind of like every single person has to fuck with them for them to be in the gang. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like when we like want to recruit people, we kind of like put ourselves out there to hang out with other people, right? And once we meet like that right person that fits with us and the group's like vibe or whatever the case may be, we hang out with them more and we do more things with them. And then once they're able to prove themselves to us as a whole, not just me, and do something that will benefit us in general, whether it's I mean, one of the members, his name is Beck. The reason he got us chained was because we were flying a plane and a police jet, shot our plane out the fucking sky. We blew up, landed in the water. He jumped out before it blew up. He swam, grabbed the car, went all the way up north, grabbed an oxygen tank, drove all the way back, came down into the airport, swam, saved me, got me in a car, and got me out.
Oh, that's dope. That's
You know
dope.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did all that to save me. I was the only one, like, out of NBC that was in that. It was like Angels, me, and him in that plane. Came, did all that just to save me. And I said, I mean, you deserve it, right? Like, you've been hanging out with us for 2-3 months consistently and doing shit. And then he pulls that off. I mean,
So, like, what I've noticed too is like, like people will work hard to like get to a spot, and then like once you give them that spot, they just
they
get
stop.
yeah. Like, do you find that? And if you do, like,
Um,
how do you handle that type of stuff?
I find that a lot, and not just like my group or whatever, just other people. Because especially on an RP server, there's only like I don't know how to explain it, but there's only so much you could do within your character's like limits, right? So if you're, I mean, planting weed, cooking meth, or you're obligated to one thing, it's gonna get boring, right?
Mhm.
So the way I try to handle it is whatever you are interested in that moment, I will give you the tools or try to help at least in my, like the best I can, plus the other guys. We'll try to assist you in the best way we can to pursue whatever you are interested in that moment. So a couple of my members wanted to cook meth and start their own weed op. So I gave 2 tables, bought out the tables, whatever, tossed it to 2 of them, let them start cooking, got some shit for like weed or whatever, right? And when they don't want to do it anymore, someone else can pick it up, or I mean, we could just throw that away and start to look into something else that people are interested in, right? So
Mhm. That's dope. So what's like what's next? Like what? Like for NBC? Like what's I guess this is like the I guess now it's like going into 4.0, you've got all these like newer members. I guess NBC is really gonna like blossom even more, should I say? Because you guys kind of went on a back burner for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a tough question just because hearing about hardcore server and like what's gonna happen in the upcoming weeks, it's hard to see NBC being a thing in hardcore, because of the way it's gonna be structured. It's not. I mean, it's not gonna be a whitelist like this, right? So you can't just apply and get in. Also, prio is going to be an issue over there. So, I mean, realistically speaking, if you get invited to that server or if you get whitelisted, you're still going to have to fight prio. And then once you're done fighting prio, then you're in the game. That's going to cut off most gangs at 50% minimum.
More than that.
Probably, yeah. And probably mine at like 75 to 80%. So I don't see, I mean, I don't see a lot of groups surviving the hardcore, to be honest, besides really established core members who, won't have that much of a difficulty.
Yeah. So how do you feel about it? How do you feel about that?
I just feel like I'm not one to like complain specifically about like new things, but I just feel like I put in so much time and effort with all the people, and I don't want to like let anybody down, right? So if hardcore does come and NBC is not an option, and that does happen with the gangs getting cut and all that, right? I feel like even though realistically it's not on me, I feel like I let a lot of the guys down, you know, for what we all built and put time and effort into, right? Like, I
Yeah.
just feel like it's more of a like a I don't want to say it's just disappointing, right? Like you lose it all, but I mean from one thing to the next, right? Like if it does happen, you move forward, and like if it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen,
Just got to roll with the punches, right?
Yeah, I mean it survived 2 years, right? Like if what I said is incorrect about like hardcore or whatever, then so be it, right? NBC will be there, and we'll thrive again, right? And we'll continue what we're doing now, and do even better, right? But um, if it doesn't, and if it's the worst possibility where it's just me showing up in hardcore, or not even me, and I don't even make it, then we go from there, right? Like I decide and move from there, right?
So what's next for you as a streamer? Like I noticed like you've been doing variety. You
Yeah.
do some cooking stuff too, right? Yeah. So what's next for you as an overall brand, and like what's your goals? You don't have to go into detail,
Yeah.
but like do you are you branding yourself out of the RBP situation, and yeah, like what's your goals?
Yeah, so well, I mean not recently, but I mean since I started streaming, I did variety, right? I always wanted to do shit like that. There was a thing I did for Halloween. I did like 12 days of Halloween, and I did 12 different costumes. I went on Amazon, I ordered 12 costumes, and this is before nopixel. And every day I wore one of these costumes like an entrance, and I would have the stream, and I would do the stream in that costume, right? Uh, so when it came to a point that I just I just blanked on the entire fucking question, bro. I don't even remember what you asked.
No, that shit happened.
I forgot. I forgot
No, I was saying like what's the goals, the end goal?
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the end goal, I mean, is to do what I did back then in regards to content, but on a larger like platform and scale, right? So with IRL streams, me and the boys are going to Miami in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be going and doing IRL streams, like me, Omi, Jack, Ming, a lot of these guys, right?
Oh
And we're
shit,
going to Miami.
I live in Miami. That's crazy.
Okay, we fucking link up or
Yeah,
something.
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll see what's going on. So when you know when this opportunity or these opportunities arise, like we could go on a trip and we'll go make content out of it. Like I'm gonna do it, right? And let's do it. And I mean, that's a vacation, but at the end of the day, like we're gonna do things to have the best content on our streams when we're down there. And once I'm back, like I want to pursue obviously RP with the hardcore and everything, but I want to do longer segments of variety, IRL streams, going on trips and doing like top of the line content, right? Like
Yeah.
become the streamer that, that I want to be, right? And I could do it if I
For sure you could do it. Yeah, I think that's good. I always think I always believe people should, because I feel like even for me it's like, yo, like all these drastic changes, like, you know, you gotta like use this as, and just build like build your brand type shit. So and I kind of learned that being banned for so long, and I was like, shit, man. Like,
I haven't even talked about my ban either.
you've been banned?
Yeah, it was banned, permaban.
What? Yo, talk about that. I need to hear that.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody's been permabanned. Like everybody that's OG.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the craziest story, but I also want to talk about how I got prio as well. Just remind me when it's done. But so basically, I was just a dumb fuck, and I mean, I didn't do the craziest things, but when you do a bunch of like smaller things and then your points add up, then obviously you get banned, and that's what happened to me. So I didn't do like wild shit and get like tossed like once, right? Like it worked up with points, and then the last straw, I think, I don't know what month it was, but I was banned for I want to say 3 to 4 months permaban.
Damn.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I appealed, and I was denied within the first day or two, but I waited a whole month or 3 weeks for a response, and I didn't get one until I like started DMing people.
So like
I was denied for my appeal the first month.
Yeah.
2 days after I put it in.
Yeah, that was me too. Oh.
Yeah, and I didn't know for 3 weeks or something. I just kept like waiting, hoping I get accepted, right? Like whatever. And then I get told it was denied. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I got denied 2 days, and then I waited obviously another month. I waited like 2 months actually, and then Rated was like, "Yo, put it in," and they didn't even respond back the second time. They just like, "Oh,
yeah.
If they don't respond, you're denied anyways."
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get back?
I don't know. I don't know how much I can say about how I got back.
Oh, okay.
To be honest,
all right.
I mean, you'll. I don't know how much I can say about it. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can talk about it.
You just got back. I got you. So
yeah.
So the prio, how did you get prio?
Coming back to the fucking Legend Summit. So I had RP'd with Summit for a while. We would go like hunt on top of a mountain and just hunt or just do stupid shit or whatever. And I would RP with him for a bit, and eventually, he fucking tossed a huge fucking host on me, and Coil was in the chat, and this was at Restart, the one that's about to show up, 45 minutes. So the EU, I guess.
AU.
AU, yeah. And I was in queue and I got stuck, right? Like I was like 60 something in queue. And Coil was in the chat and he said, "Give me your Steam ID." And I was like, how the fuck do I find my Steam ID? So I'm on stream, fucking looking up how to get my Steam ID, trying to get it. And then eventually he goes, "I got it, dumb fuck." I said, "Okay, sorry, you got it. Never mind." And he gave me prio.
That's
how I got
up.
prio. That's like the events from having Summit fucking host you to having Coil being in the chat to him giving you prio because he saw you in the queue. Like that's like 1%, 1%, like
1%. Yeah, like bro, that's like that's deep. That's crazy. Yeah, because like, man, I love Summit, bro. Like,
bro, I owe everything to Summit. Like,
Summit,
if he asked me to do something, I would do it. 100%.
Yeah, Summit is like, man, he's really like, even just through these interviews I've been doing, I've learned so much about Summit. And then obviously I got to RP with him a lot the last like 2 months.
Yeah.
And man, like I hope one day he can come on the show, because that would be like a crazy story.
It would be nuts because I mean, Summit is the most selfless motherfucker I've ever
Bro,
seen, man. He does for
so
other people
selfless.
no one would ever do. Like, I don't know.
He's
I can't give him enough props. Like,
he's beyond selfless, bro. Like
yep.
I just and then you kind of understand like why he got blessed with that position, because he's just like
Because he's that fucking guy, right?
he's
Like,
that fucking guy.
yeah. I mean, he
Yeah.
deserves it. All his success, right? So,
Well, bro, again, I appreciate this interview. I know we could go a little longer, but
yeah.
it's like 1 a.m. my
Oh,
time.
yeah. 120, yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
yo, hit me. Oh, wait, actually, guys, I want you guys to make sure you follow, subscribe. If you guys got any more questions, put it in the comments. And we'll do part 2. That's how it always goes.
Yeah, let's do it.
And great interview. Damn, there's just so much I'm learning, and I'm grateful for you even to come on here and just like bless me with this, brother.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know if like what I said was good. Like, if my story or whatever I said wasn't, like, tell me in the comments I'm shit. No, I'm sorry.
Nah, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Every story matters. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe, like, and yeah, we'll be back with another one.